In the heart of the Vatican, surrounded by the gaze of thousands, Ethan Harper's world shattered as his weapon clattered to the ground, the sound echoing like a thunderclap of disgrace. Faces froze, breaths halted. Was this the end of his career? But what happened next will shock even those who thought they'd seen everything. But first, let's go back to the beginning. In the opulent setting of the Vatican, where the atmosphere was thick with reverence and tradition, the silence that followed was profound. The gilded halls, resplendent with centuries-old tapestries, and the solemn gaze from the saints immortalized in stained glass, seemed to magnify the gravity of the mishap. Ethan Harper, once the epitome of discipline and resolve, now found himself the unintended focal point of this grand assembly. As he fumbled to regain control of his weapon, time appeared to stretch into infinity. His hands, usually so steady and sure, were now betraying his nerves, trembling under the weight of hundreds of watchful eyes. Each heartbeat thundered in his chest, a relentless reminder of the sanctity he feared he had disrupted. The weapon, a symbol of his allegiance and duty, felt foreign as he grasped it with a renewed sense of urgency and desperation. The scene unfolded amidst a backdrop of anticipatory silence. The attendees, esteemed clergy, dignitaries, and lay people alike, held their collective breath, their faces etched with a spectrum of emotions ranging from empathy to judgment. The initial gasp that had erupted from the crowd lurked like an echo, refusing to fade into the past. In the corners of his vision, Ethan could sense the flicker of cameras capturing the moment, ensuring that his blunder would be immortalized beyond the Vatican walls. Ethan's mind, a maelstrom of anxiety, delved into memories of his rigorous training. He recalled the countless hours spent honing his craft, each drill designed to instill an unbreachable composure. The mantra of precision and pride that had been his guide now felt like a distant whisper, overshadowed by the pressing reality of his error. His instructors had emphasized honor in perfection, yet here he stood, imperfect, vulnerable, and exposed. Despite the turmoil within, Ethan's exterior maintained an admirable facade of professionalism. With a firmness he barely felt, he stood tall, his chin lifted in defiance of the shame tugging at his heart. Yet, as he glanced around, hoping for any sign of forgiveness or understanding from his peers, he was met instead with a wall of decorum, their expressions revealing nothing but the unspoken support that resides in shared silence. This ordeal, while deeply personal, was not his alone to bear. The collective reputation of the Vatican Guard was woven inextricably into his own, each member a thread in a tapestry of shared duty and honor. His slip had tugged at these threads, but it had not unraveled the fabric of their camaraderie. In that moment of personal chaos, Ethan's resolve crystallized. He would not allow one misstep to define his journey. Instead, he would leverage it as a cornerstone for a newer, deeper understanding of humility and dedication. With the ceremony poised to continue and the world awaiting his next move, Ethan Harper took a profound breath. The path ahead was uncertain, shadowed with potential reproach and redemption alike, but it was his to walk. In the silence that enveloped the grand basilica, he resolved not to let this moment be a nadir, but rather the impetus for an ascent toward a more resilient service to the beliefs he cherished and defended. Ethan Harper stood as a lone figure amidst the grandeur and solemnity of the Vatican ceremony, his mind awhirl with chaos only he could perceive. The weapon lay on the ground, an emblem of his failure glinting sharply under the cathedral lights. As the realization of his mistake settled in, it felt like an abyss had opened beneath him, threatening to swallow not just his present moment, but the countless days of disciplined training and unwavering dedication that had preceded it. The weight of the uniform that once signified honor now felt like chains binding him to a mistake that seemed insurmountable. Ethan's thoughts raced back to the grueling hours spent honing his skills, perfecting each maneuver with an intensity matched only by his determination to exemplify the dignity of the Vatican Guard. The rigorous drills and the countless sacrifices resurfaced in his mind, each moment a testament to his resolve. He had envisioned glory, not ignominy. Yet here he stood, fear creeping in shadows at the edges of his consciousness, whispering that he might now forever be the guard who faltered. The solemn air was pierced by murmurs, a susurration carrying far more weight than the isolated clattering of his weapon. And then, as Ethan battled the tides of shame threatening to overtake him, a serene and gentle voice cut through the tumult, a voice familiar and comforting. Father Andrew stepped forward with an air of tranquility, his very presence a balm to Ethan's turbulent thoughts. There was no judgment in his eyes, only understanding and calm purpose, as he stood unfazed by the breach of protocol his action represented. "Ethan," Father Andrew spoke with deliberate softness, an unyielding steel veiled with compassion coursing through his tone. "In our moments of perceived weakness lie the seeds of our greatest strength." The priest's words were simple, yet profound, slicing through the chaos like a beacon in a storm. For a moment, the world paused as the priest's presence anchored Ethan to a deeper truth. The father was more than a mentor. He embodied the earthly wisdom of someone who had walked paths of error and redemption himself. It was not just the uniform that defined Ethan, but the intent and humanity beneath it, reminding him that to err was to be human, and to rise from error was to embrace one's true nobility. Ethan felt a warmth unfurling within, a burgeoning seed of hope, as Father Andrew's words laid a foundation for self-rediscovery. Each syllable was a lifeline, a reminder that the path to self-redemption began not with unfaltering perfection, but with embracing one's imperfections. The narrative of his career was not confined to a single moment, no matter how pivotal. He saw now that this incident offered a unique chance to redefine it, not through avoidance of failure, but through the strength of humility and renewed determination. Amidst the grandeur of ceremony, Ethan found a profound personal revelation, understood only by those who embraced their humanity with courage and grace. Ethan stood still, his mind a tumult of emotions beneath the steady gaze of Father Andrew. The priest's words lingered in the air, like a gentle balm on a sunburnt soul. The commotion from the dropped weapon had subsided, but the echoes of the moment reverberated within Ethan, louder than the hushed whispers of the crowd. They felt like the impatient tapping of rain against windows, seeking entry into the warmth of his inner resolve. Ethan closed his eyes, seeking refuge in the memories of the path that had led him to this point, each step a testament to his resolve to embody the values of the Vatican Guard. His journey had been one of discipline, a tapestry woven with threads of sacrifice and unwavering dedication. Yet, in the silence that followed his mistake, Ethan realized that his purpose transcended the framework of pride and honor he had built in his mind. The uniform he wore was more than a symbol of valor. It was a vow to protect and to serve, to be a steadfast sentinel of faith and duty. It was a commitment to a purpose that extended beyond the ceremonial glamour, reaching the profound depths of spiritual significance. This uniform was a call to transcend personal ambition, a challenge to merge individual aspiration with collective faith. The realization stirred within him like a phoenix rising from the ashes of presumptuous pride, igniting a flame of clarity that cast away shadows of doubt. The public slip-up, an apparent blemish on the pristine surface of his reputation, unfurled itself as a revelation, teaching him the profound grace in humility. It was as if the universe had paused to allow Ethan a moment of introspection, offering him a rare glimpse into the essence of true service. Gathering the threads of his courage, Ethan stepped forward, each movement a declaration of his newfound resolve. With a heart attuned to the quiet resonance of sincerity, he addressed the assembly. "I stand before you today not as a guardian shrouded in insignia of honor, but as a servant of humility." His voice carried, imbued with the gravity of truth and the resonance of authenticity. "In this moment, I am reminded that the true strength of a guardian lies not in perfection, but in the courageous embrace of our imperfections. We are called to rise above our trials with a spirit of renewal and grace." His words wove a delicate fabric of connection with the crowd, bridging the gap between rank and spectator, between solemnity and shared humanity. It was a moment of transformation, where vulnerability emerged as an unassailable fortress, radiating resilience. In Ethan's eyes, the congregation saw a reflection of themselves, a testament to the power of introspection and the poignant beauty of earnest perseverance. This was not merely an act of redemption, but a collective exaltation of the human spirit, turning the moment into a beacon of empowerment and unity. The silence that had enveloped St. Peter's Square after Ethan Harper's mistake was palpable, a quiet heavy with anticipation and unspoken judgments. Yet, as Ethan stood at the heart of that silent storm, an unexpected calm began to guide him. With Father Andrew's gentle guidance still echoing in his ears, Ethan took a deep breath and raised his eyes to the sea of faces watching him. This was his moment, not to shy away in disgrace, but to confront the fragility of human imperfection and emerge from it stronger. Clearing his throat, Ethan spoke with a voice that, though initially quivering, found its strength and grew steady. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his words resonating through the vast expanse of the square, "today I stand before you not as a fallen guard, but as a man who momentarily stumbled." His gaze swept across the crowd, seeing not a sea of strangers, but individuals who, like him, had faced their own moments of vulnerability. "To err is human," he continued, allowing a breath of humility to color his delivery. "And today, I was reminded of that truth most prominently." Pausing, Ethan let the words hang in the warm afternoon air, allowing their gravity to settle before he proceeded. This was not merely a speech. It was a heartfelt discourse, a sharing of his innermost reflections born from the depths of personal introspection. "As a guard, my duty is to uphold the honor of this holy place," he acknowledged, admitting the weight his role carried. "But honor is not only in our perfection. It's found in our ability to rise again after a fall, to seek improvement and understanding." With each sentence, Ethan invited the crowd deeper into his moment of revelation, a journey from humiliation to enlightenment. Ethan's words were buoyed by a sincerity that left no room for doubt. He was not seeking mere forgiveness or reassurance, but was offering a transparent window into his soul, a soul ardent and unyielding in its quest for meaning and fulfillment. "I am deeply grateful," he expressed, his voice now unwavering, filled with a profound gratitude that infused the atmosphere. "Grateful to serve alongside my fellow guards, to be part of a legacy that spans centuries." As Ethan spoke, the expressions on the faces of those listening softened. Stern glances from his superiors melted into nods of approval and understanding. The thunderous applause that followed was not merely for the words spoken, but for the courage exhibited, the raw vulnerability courageously displayed in the face of potential censure. It was a testament to the power of reflection and reinvention. Through Ethan's eloquent address, an air of revitalized respect and admiration spread through the square. He had transformed a potential day of disgrace into one of unexpected triumph, a moment that reflected the indomitable spirit of a man devoted to his duty. The applause that began to ripple through the crowd was a symphony of unified support, echoing the profound transformation witnessed that day. A reminder that true grace lies in our ability to grow from life's inevitable stumbles.